You've got a shelf full of games you keep meaning to finish, a wish list that never shrinks, and yet you somehow keep loading up the same old save file you've beaten 3 times already. We've all been there, but every now and then a game comes along that grabs you and doesn't let go, the kind you're still thinking about years down the line. This is the list of single-player games you owe it to yourself to play before you die. Let's get into it. Kicking things off with Batman, Arkham Knight, still the closest anyone's ever come to making you actually feel like Batman. You play as the Dark Knight himself, defending a Gotham that's been evacuated overnight while Scarecrow threatens to gas the whole city. Where it really shines is the combat, that free-flow system, where you're flowing from one thug to the next, countering, gliding, vanishing into the dark, feels so smooth it's almost hypnotic, and the world is dripping with atmosphere. Rain-soaked and neon-lit, easily one of the best-looking Gothams ever put on screen. Now, I'll be honest, and those tank battles overstay their welcome fast, but when you're just being Batman, stalking rooms full of armed goons, nothing else touches it. Even now, it still holds up.
Today, a new chapter in this land's history.
Next up, we got Crimson Desert, the massive open-world adventure from the team behind Black Desert, and it's a real spectacle. You play as Cliff, a battle-worn mercenary trying to reunite his scattered companions across the war-torn continent of Pywell. What really sells it is the combat and the boss fights. This isn't your usual lock-on and roll, it's freeform, physical, brutal, and the giant boss battles are some of the most jaw-dropping set pieces you'll see in a game this size. The world's gorgeous too, packed with weather, wildlife, and little moments to stumble into. It's not perfect though. The story got a rough reception and the devs are still patching it up. It's absolutely enormous to the point of feeling bloated, and it launched without proper difficulty options. But if you want a huge, good-looking world to lose yourself in, this one delivers.
You need only accept the sacred gift.
Up next is Resident Evil 4, and whether you go for the original or the remake, this is survival horror at its absolute peak. You play as Leon Kennedy, a government agent sent to rescue the president's daughter from a creepy cult buried in rural Spain. Where it really shines is the pacing. This game never gives you a second to breathe. It throws chainsaw maniacs and swarms of villagers at you, then quietly hands you just enough ammo to make it out, and somehow the rhythm of it is near perfect. That over-the-shoulder aiming basically rewrote the rulebook for action games. Fair warning, it's more tense than outright scary compared to the older Resident Evils, and there's a bit of backtracking. But moment to moment, it's one of the most fun games ever made. An absolute classic. Rise of the Tomb Raider takes everything the reboot started and sharpens it into the best of the bunch. You play as Lara Croft, chasing a lost city and the secret to immortality across the frozen wilds of Siberia. What makes it stand out is the mix of survival and exploration. You're crafting on the fly, hunting for supplies, picking your way through these gorgeous, deadly tombs full of clever puzzles that actually make you feel smart when you crack them. The traversal is fluid, the set pieces are thrilling, and it looks stunning even years later. I'll level with you, the story's pretty forgettable, and the overall formula won't surprise anyone who's played this style before. But it does that formula so well, and it's so satisfying to just move through that you won't much care. A tight, gorgeous adventure.
Carl Kestis. Why lead when they won't follow?
Next up, we got Star Wars Jedi Survivor, hands down the best the Star Wars games have felt to play in years. You play as Cal Kestis, a young Jedi on the run from the Empire, fighting to stay alive in a galaxy that wants him gone. Where it really shines is the lightsaber combat. You can swap between different stances mid-fight, mix in force powers, and once you find the rhythm of parrying and countering, it feels genuinely incredible. The planets are these sprawling, secret-packed playgrounds that reward you for poking into every corner. Here's the catch though, it launched in rough shape, with real performance issues and bugs, especially on PC. Patches have helped a lot since, but underneath the technical mess is one of the most satisfying action games out there, and easy to sink hours into.
Have you ever been disrespected? Forced to follow orders?
No list like this feels complete without Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, still the game everyone points to when they say the series peaked. You play as Edward Kenway, a cocky pirate carving his way through a gorgeous, sun-soaked Caribbean. What really sells it is the sailing, captaining your own ship, hunting other vessels on the open sea, your crew belting out sea shanties while you chase a storm on the horizon. There's honestly nothing else quite like it. Hopping between islands, diving for treasure, upgrading your ship, it's the freedom that gets you. Now the on-foot assassin missions and the endless tailing bits are the weaker part, and the modern day sections are a snooze. But the second you're back at the helm with the wind at your back, it all clicks. The best pirate game ever made. Full stop. Marvel's Spider-Man nailed the one thing every Spider-Man game before it kept fumbling. It made you feel like you're actually him. You play as Peter Parker, juggling a crumbling personal life with saving a beautifully recreated New York City. Where it really shines is the web swinging, launching off a rooftop, diving between skyscrapers, catching yourself inches from the street. It's so good you'll take the long way everywhere just to keep doing it. The combat's slick and acrobatic, and the story treats its characters with real heart. It's not flawless. Mind you, a lot of the open world side stuff is checklist busywork you've seen before, but that traversal never ever gets old, and honestly, that alone carries it. A must play, even if you're not a comics person.
Whosoever conceals a mage in their home shall burn alongside him or her.
Up next is The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, the game that ruined a lot of open worlds for people once they'd played it. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter for hire tracking his adopted daughter across a continent gutted by war. Where it really shines is the writing. Even the side quests that look like throwaway filler pull you into some small, messy human story with no clean right answer. You're never just fetching 10 wolf pelts here. The world feels lived in, the choices actually weigh on you, and the monster contracts make you feel like a real professional doing grim work. The combat's a little clunky and the menus are a mess, no getting around that. But sink 100 hours into this thing and you'll still be turning certain quests over in your head long after. Even now, it still holds up.
We can't catch up. People are getting desperate. People are done.
Next up, we got Wolfenstein, The New Order, a shooter that's way smarter and more heartfelt than it has any right to be. You play as BJ Blazkowicz in an alternate history where the Nazis won the war and now rule the world in the 1960s. What makes it stand out is how it blends old-school, fast, dual-wielding gunplay with a story that genuinely makes you care about the people fighting back. You'd expect dumb fun, and the shooting delivers that in spades, but then it quietly hits you with real emotional weight. The stealth's a bit weak and it's fairly linear, no open world here. But as a pure, punchy, surprisingly moving shooter, it's an easy recommendation. One of the best in the genre. Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice will test your patience harder than anything else on this list, and that's the whole point. You play as a shinobi in a mythic version of feudal Japan, out to protect your young lord and take revenge on the clan that took your arm. What makes it stand out is the combat. It's less about dodging and more about standing your ground, clashing blades, reading your enemy, and cracking their posture with perfect timing. When two swords are ringing off each other and you finally lock into the rhythm, it stops feeling like a fight and starts feeling like a dance. There's no easy mode, no summoning a friend to carry you. It's just you getting better, or getting wrecked, and it will wreck you. But when a brutal boss finally drops because you got good, almost nothing rewards you like that.
When we fight, we face our enemy head on.
Up next is Ghost of Tsushima, basically a love letter to old samurai movies and one of the prettiest games you'll ever play. You play as Jin Sakai, a samurai forced to abandon his honorable code and fight dirty to drive a Mongol invasion off his home island. Where it really shines is the atmosphere. The wind itself guides you to your goal instead of a map marker. Leaves and grass sway everywhere, and the sword duels are these tense cinematic standoffs where one clean strike ends it. Combat's fluid and brutal, and slipping through the night as a feared ghost feels great. I'll be straight with you. Under that gorgeous coat of paint, the open world structure is pretty familiar checklist stuff you've done elsewhere, but it does it so well and looks so good doing it, you honestly won't care. A gorgeous ride.
It's got something to do with that girl.
It's got everything to do with that little girl.
Next up, we got The Last of Us Part 1, and if you've somehow dodged this one, it's time. You play as Joel, a hardened smuggler tasked with escorting a teenage girl named Ellie across an America wrecked by a fungal outbreak. Where it really shines isn't the shooting or the stealth, it's the bond that slowly builds between these two on the road. It sneaks up on you. By the end, you understand Joel completely, even when you're a little horrified by him. The world's tense and grim, every bullet feels precious, and the infected still make my skin crawl. The gameplay is fairly standard cover shooter stuff, and this remake is pricey for what it actually changes. But you're not here for the mechanics, you're here for a story that earns its ending. Just play it.
Place to live in America.
Cyberpunk 2077, and yeah, I know, the launch was a total disaster. Let's just get that out of the way. But the game it is now, after years of patches, is genuinely one of the best RPGs out there. You play as V, a merc in Night City, with a dead legend living inside your skull and slowly taking over. Where it really shines is the city itself. Night City is dense, loud, gorgeous, and stuffed with stories tucked into every back alley. It feels like a real place with an actual pulse. The main quests and characters are fantastic, and the choices genuinely land. It's still not totally bug-free, and a few launch promises never fully arrived. But if you wrote it off back then, the Night City waiting for you now is absolutely worth the trip.
One more big score. We got enough money to leave. What do you think?
Up next is Red Dead Redemption 2, and this one asks for your patience before it gives anything back. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw riding with a gang that's slowly falling apart as the Old West dies around them. What really sells it is the slow burn. This isn't a game you rush, you ride, you camp. You sit around the fire listening to your crew, and somewhere in all that quiet, Arthur becomes one of the most human characters gaming's ever handed you. The world is absurdly detailed. Snow leaves tracks in real time, your horse remembers you, strangers on the road have their own little dramas. Yeah, the controls are heavy and deliberate, and cleaning your gun for the 100th time gets old. But that slowness is the whole point, and the ending hits harder than almost anything out there.
What have you got, Isaac?
Half the Ishimuras in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
Can you handle it alone?
Fix the centrifuge.
Rounding out the list, we've got Dead Space, one of the most terrifying games ever built. You play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer stranded on a mining ship called the Ishimura, now overrun by twisted, reanimated corpses called necromorphs. What makes it stand out is how you fight them. Regular headshots don't cut it here. You have to strategically dismember these things, blasting off limbs one by one, and that little twist keeps every encounter tense and horrible in the best way. The atmosphere is suffocating, it's all groaning metal, flickering lights, and that awful feeling something's right behind you. It can get a little repetitive in its corridors, and there's some backtracking, but as a pure exercise in dread. Whether you play the original or the excellent remake, few games do it better. Turn the lights off for this one. And that wraps up the list. 15 single-player games you really owe it to yourself to play before your time's up. Every one of these earned its spot, and I promise at least a couple will stick with you long after the credits roll. Let me know in the comments if I missed your favorite. I know I left some heavy hitters off, so come yell at me. If you got something out of this, drop a like and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I'll see you in the next one.